Hello, everybody! If you're new here, hi for the very first time. My name is Lynn. I would like to get more into the Reddit stories. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, I just really I really enjoy reading crazy fucked up stories on Reddit. And it makes my life feel a whole lot better. I love gossip. Nom, nom, nom. Anyways, I'm gonna kind of make this a thing. So maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll upload a little Reddit video. And if you like it, that's cool. If you don't, get out of here. Leave. Anyways. If your accent doesn't really work for this name, mine doesn't, which is why it worked so well. It sounds like I need more head. Yeah. In the area's native accent. Okay. Once my drink was ready, she read out the name and immediately realized what she said. I raised my hand and started walking towards her to collect my drink. But she got this furious look on her face and she hurled the drink across the room, with it landing at my feet and splattering all over my shoes. I just yelled, "What the fuck?" at this because obviously now I need to clean up my shoes. Nobody cares. Which were Vans. Okay. And also because I paid for my drink already, I walked up to her and apologized, saying that I thought it was a harmless joke and that it wouldn't piss anyone off. And clearly I was wrong. She accepted my apology, but told me she wouldn't be making me another drink. I got pissed at this because I paid for this and Starbucks isn't cheap. Plus she had ruined my shoes as well. I asked to speak to her manager, who then apologized for her and told me he'd remember this. I feel bad because Starbucks workers already deal with a lot of shit, and now I got one in trouble for something that I 100% caused. Am I the butthole? Yeah, also nobody cares about your fucking Vans, kid. Why did you need to clarify? My shoes. She ruined my shoes, by the way, which were Vans. Maybe she was having a rough time. Maybe she was having a bad day. That doesn't justify her throwing a fucking Starbucks drink at this person. Someone said, you sexually harassed a person because you knew she didn't have the power to retaliate, and then when she did anyway, you tried to get her fired. Another comment, as someone who is a woman and who has also worked at Starbucks, this dealing with my fair share of sexual harassment, you're the asshole 100 times over. What you did wasn't a joke. It wasn't funny. It was absolutely disgusting and you should be banned from that store. For the fact that you got in trouble for your behavior makes it even worse. And you're right. Starbucks employees get a lot of crap from customers and even their managers, but you doing that didn't make things any better. If you can't act your age, then stay home. Yeah, I don't know. This person sounds like they're 13. I'm done with that. On to the next. I'm so done with it. Okay, this one comes with pictures and I will share them during the story. So anyways, into story number 2. This is, am I overreacting over this quote? Small prank, end quote. Oh, they reposted the a previous post to include the pictures. Okay. Reposting this with pictures because it got buried and I could really use the advice right now. First, I apologize for the long post. There's a lot of context and I can't condense it more than I already have. Okay. I mean, it's not that long. It's not a couple paragraphs. I, female 22, have been with my boyfriend, male 25, for a little over a year and a half. Recently, we have been running into hurdles because I have been feeling like he has been bothering, teasing, poking, biting me. Biting? More than being a serious, loving partner to me. For context, I mean making weird noises all the time, referencing Italian brain rot, or groping me randomly, even if I'm in the middle of a sentence and talking about something serious, etc. When I would prefer active listening, loving touch, unironic quality time. Understood? We had a huge conversation about this recently as I was on the brink of ending things with him, since the lack of warmth relative to his unseriousness was making me feel empty. Since then, there has been genuine effort and a big improvement, and as I was starting to feel very hopeful that this was something we could work through. Oh boy, and this is where everything gets bad. Fast forward a little, and I'm starting a new job as an educator. And while I'm very excited about it, it's also a huge adjustment and has been really stressful. On top of that, for the past 6 days, I've been hearing a bizarre beeping noise coming from my closet that chirps every 20 to 40 minutes, driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was keeping me up and infiltrating my dreams. That's horrible. It started freaking me out since nothing I own makes that sound. Nothing in the closet even had a battery in it, and for my overall stress and lack of good sleep, I was starting to grow paranoid that somebody had planted a device in my room. To add to this, I am extremely private, and the only people who are regularly in my room are myself and my boyfriend when he visits. This led to me fearing that my boyfriend was secretly stalking me and had planted a mic or something in my room that was starting to make noise. I had zero reason to believe this and had 100% trust in him, but was starting to go crazy. As you should with your as you would with your lack of sleep. It even happened while talking with my therapist. When I explained the mystery of its origins, she seemed equally concerned. Obviously, to make matters worse, the fridge at work is broken and peeps 9 times every minute. Ugh. I'd hate that. So it started feeling like the chirping was following me, compounding my general distress. Last night, after a stressful day and finding out some unrelated, unsettling news that is enough to emotionally affect me on its own, my sister heard the noise as well, and we decided to tear my closet apart at 10 p.m. when I had to wake up at 6. So I figured out what has been plaguing me. After timing the beeps for an hour, it beeped in irregular intervals. We found this tiny Arduino board deep in one of my boxes labeled annoying PCB as pictured. And, moving aside, there it is. Google it. Its literal sole purpose is to drive its victims insane. I was immediately horrified, quite literally shaking and crying as my wildest nightmare of someone planting a device in my room had literally come true. My immediate thought was, who would do something like this, and what did I do to deserve this? I called my boyfriend immediately, and he admitted he knew what it was. I hung up and haven't spoken to him since. Obviously, I'd ghost that bitch. The reason I'm not sure if I'm overreacting... Oh, you're definitely not overreacting. The reason I'm not sure if I'm overreacting is because on one hand, I understand how this might be funny, but to me, that doesn't matter given A, the fact that I've been feeling like he hasn't been serious with me to a problematic extent. B, the fact that this has been plaguing me and disrupting my sleep, literally the first week of my new job. And C, I have been complaining about it to him for days, and he played along, acting confused and concerned, repeatedly asking me what does it sound like, and even dismissing my genuine concern and paranoia, saying maybe it's a little cricket in your room. Okay, this guy's a booty hole. I just feel like this is on par with glitter bombing, like something you do to someone you hate, not the supposed love of your life. It feels like psychological warfare, and between stretching this out for days and planning it in my room feels like a massive breach of trust. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him at all, and he's been texting me saying things like, it was just a prank, and beep, 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 and I miss you, and please don't ignore me. All right, dude. I'm so against stonewalling, but I've literally nothing to say, and he hasn't apologized or shown any remorse. I don't feel ready to speak to him at all. Maybe it was a good prank with bad timing, but I can't help but feel like this is just setting us back again, and I'm genuinely shaken. I honestly don't see a future at this point, and I'm not really sure what to do. If you read this far, thank you for listening and appreciate any advice or kindness. Yeah. It'd be a cute little... Okay, not even cute. It'd be like annoying. It'd be an annoying prank if it was only like a couple of hours, and then he went like, yeah, I put this little device in your room. But he let her sleep with that for like a week, and it chirped like every like half hour to an hour. That's crazy. That would drive anyone insane, especially like she's starting a new job and that's stressful already. Comment, Let me give you advice as someone who's been on the receiving end of this. Someone who has your safety, mental health, and trust in one hand and the ability to entertain themselves at the expense of another human being in the other, and they choose the second one, they're letting you know where you stand in their life. You were clearly suffering from this for multiple reasons, and he kept going. It was entertaining to him to watch you be scared and confused. The fact that he's sending you beep, beep messages and kicking a circle in the dirt going, sorry, while taking no accountability speaks volumes. He's not worth being with anymore. You deserve better than a partner that will torture you for their entertainment. Yup. And the beep beep text, that was him still being entertained. He still thinks it's funny. Like, he's not even apologizing. Another comment, going to focus on the prank because you said boyfriend has noticeably improved in other areas, which I hope is true because he sounds like he sucks. This would be a funny prank at an office or an open living space. Somewhere it happens occasionally. There can be like a haha moment together when it is found and doesn't go on too long. Putting this deeply hidden in your bedroom and letting it run while you sleep is absolutely insane. Huge a-hole behavior. At absolute best, he has no consideration for you, for your well-being, and at worst, he is trying to stress you out and drive you insane in a more serious sense than this prank could ever be. Not overreacting, and honestly, I hope for your sake, this is a breaking point for you because this is insane. Yeah, this is psychotic behavior. On to the next story that I'm going to read. Number three. Am I the a-hole for stranding my friend on her moving day because she pulled a prank on me? Cool. I'm a 24-year-old man and my friend, Jess, 22-year-old woman. We've known each other for about 3 years since we met in a class. We've always been platonic, and to be completely honest, I'm not the type of guy to go for it. Yesterday, Jess was supposed to move, and I was going to drive my truck over to her place, help her load her stuff, and get her out of her apartment. Her situation with her roommates have become highly unstable due to irreconcilable differences, so she was in a rush to leave. Understood. The day before yesterday, as a way of thanking me in advance, Jess ordered pizza for the two of us, and we were sitting watching a movie on my couch. Being platonic friends as usual, and then suddenly she inched closer to me. I figured it was nothing until a minute later she got a little closer. Then she got a little closer, and all I could do was think about how it was finally happening. It's happening. I'm sorry. She squeezed up really close next to me and looked up at my face, and I'm not the most confident guy, so all I could say was, hi, to which she responded, hi. Then she asked me if I wanted to do, quote, something, and I asked what something was, and she said, oh, you know, something. Still trying to keep room for plausible deniability again, I laughed and said, I don't know what something was. She kept staring at me and nodding, and I thought I'd take my chances. I asked if I could kiss her. I mean, yeah, of course. She immediately stood up, walked to the other end of the room, and sat down on the armchair. Then she took out her phone. I immediately apologized to her, and she said that I should just forget it. A few minutes of incredibly awkward silence passed, and then she said, I guess Kim, in parentheses, her best friend, was right. And I asked what Kim was right about, and she explained that for several years, Kim has repeated again and again that I was only trying to get into her pants. Apparently, Kim put her up to testing me. I felt horrible. Immediately, I apologized to Jess again, said that while I found her attractive, I'd do nothing to hurt our friendship, and then apologized yet again. So he's apologizing a lot. Jess accepted it while crying a bit, and then I told her that she had nothing to worry about. After Jess went home, I got to thinking that it was incredibly mean-spirited that she would do that to me. I apologized, but that was a juvenile high school prank and just started to strike me in the wrong way. I talked to my sister, who I can talk to about anything, who reinforced that it was disgusting behavior, and she asked for Jess's address, which I declined to give her. I mean, yeah. The next morning, instead of meeting up with Jess at the promised time, I just didn't. I had taken the day off of work, but I went in anyways because I wanted to get my mind off of what happened. Jess was blowing up my phone all day, and then I got a couple of texts from a number I didn't recognize, which I imagined was Kim. Finally, Jess called me a flaking creep, and that wasn't the end. I'm really mixed on this. I feel kind of bad, but not so bad. Was I wrong? Absolutely not. If you had somewhat of an attraction to her and she was making a move, it seemed like this Kim person just kind of wanted to fuck up your relationship. And honestly, what a little weirdo this Jess girl is, calling him a flaking creep. And that was, you've been friends for years? Come on. Comment, not the a-hole, just as manipulative and cruel. What a dick move. I'm sorry this happened to you. Another comment. Not the a-hole. A couple of things. One, this was a no-win situation. If you had turned her down, she would have likely been seriously offended, and how awkward it would have been. I wonder if you accepted partly because of that. You asked if you could kiss her, which was pretty tame, and she was offended. Two, if someone is eating chocolate and I'm not asking if I can have some and they offer it, I'm saying yes. We're in the 2020s. Sex doesn't necessarily carry the same commitment that it did decades ago. You like Jess, it's likely that you would be attracted to her sexually, even if you didn't want her to be your girlfriend. I am old enough to be your mother, and even I know that. Okay, weird comment. Saying yes to what is offered doesn't mean you have spent the last 3 years trying it on. Well, yeah, you could have just said that. Yeah, just because saying yes to what was offered in that moment doesn't mean you spent the last 3 years, like, trying to get into her pants. This commenter, 3, you were made to feel guilty and bad just for accepting what was thrust at you. 4, you have been friends with Jess for long enough that she shouldn't be letting another friend interpret your friendship and decide she should test you. It's disgustingly disrespectful. This reminds me of one of those scenes from American high school movies where the jocker queen bee leads on an awkward kid and then laughs at them. I'm sorry this happened to you, and I think I would be finding a new friend who is more mature. Yeah. All right, next story. Okay, this is Reddit on Wiki. It looks like screenshots of another post that might have been taken down, mayhaps. This story. I accidentally sent my sister's husband to the ER after he jumped out at me as a joke while I was holding a kitchen knife. Now my family is divided and I don't know how to fix this. First off, you just going stabbing? This happened 3 nights ago and I still feel sick to my stomach. I can't sleep, I can't eat, and I can't stop replaying it in my head. I've always been a pretty jumpy person. I survived a home invasion 5 years ago, and ever since I've had severe startle responses. My therapist and close friends know this, but I don't talk about it much to my extended family members and try to avoid situations that can trigger it. Understood. Now I know why you stabbed him. My sister, 33 female, is married to a guy, 35 male, who thinks of himself as the funny one. And he loves pranks, jump scares, and filming reactions for social media. I've told him before that I hate being startled, but he always brushes it off with, "Come on, it's just a joke." I've laughed it off at times just to avoid making things awkward, but inside my heart always races and I feel horrible, icy rush through my body. Well, yeah. 3 nights ago, my sister invited me over for dinner. She told me she'd be running late from work, but her husband would be home. I figured we'd just hang out until she got back, and I offered to make dinner so it'd be ready when she arrived. How sweet. I was in the kitchen chopping vegetables when the lights suddenly cut out. Total darkness. I froze. My chest tightened instantly. Then from somewhere behind me, I heard fast footsteps. Before I could even turn around, something lunged out of the pantry screaming. I reacted before I could think. My hand jerked, the knife slipped, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor holding a side, screaming in pain. What? I reacted before I could think. My hand jerked, the knife slipped, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor holding his side. He was screaming in pain. I dropped the knife and scrambled to turn the light on. My sister's husband. There was blood spreading across his shirt. I remember yelling his name and pressing my hands over the wound while fumbling for my phone to call 911. The paramedics said the cut was deep but missed any major organs. He needed stitches and a night in the hospital for observation. The doctor said he'd recover physically, but my sister's face when she arrived at the ER is burned into my brain. Shock and anger. She didn't even look at me. She said, "You could have killed him." Well, yeah. You don't scare somebody who's literally holding a knife, my guy. Especially one that says, I don't like it multiple times. Half my family says it was an accident and that he was stupid for jumping out at me while I had a knife in my hand. The other says I overreacted and that I should have known it was just him. First off, she survived a home invasion. That shit is severely fucks with your mental, and you become very jumpy, and you know, somebody jumps out at you. If you're holding a knife, you stab. If you're not, you're going to be punching. He's getting hurt either way. The other half says I overreacted and that should have known it was just him, and that this was exactly why they don't trust me around sharp things. Okay, shut up. I can't believe I'm being talked about like I'm some kind of danger when I was literally attacked in my own home years ago. Now my sister won't answer my calls, and her husband from the hospital bed texted me, "You ruined the joke." Okay, shut up. I don't even know how to respond to that. My therapist says it's not my fault, but I feel this crushing guilt. Like I've destroyed my relationship with my sister forever. Do I owe him an apology for injuring him, even though he caused the situation, or should I stand my ground and make it clear that his prank could have ended much worse? How do I fix this without compromising my own safety and boundaries? I mean, like, yeah, any normal person would apologize for putting somebody in the hospital, but also I would bring up the fact that, like, hey, that's not a prank to me. I was attacked in my own home. Like, be for fucking real. Yeah, the comments. This person survived a home invasion, for God's sakes. Yeah, this needs to be higher in the comments, and he still decided to act like a fool and frighten her. Ruin the joke, my ass. Literally. Another comment. Honestly, don't think it matters. Anyone who jumps out to scare someone carrying a knife deserves what they get. Dorn award worthy. Jeez. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Another comment. People are so stupid. I don't see how such a, quote, prank would end any other way. Yes, let's intentionally startle someone holding a weapon in the dark. I hope this makes Mr. Funny Pants a bit more circumspect about the types of games he plays. I don't even think he learned his lesson, even though he literally was stabbed. So, what a freaking idiot! I'm gonna be honest. Anyways, I think this might be either the worst one or equally as bad as that last one of the dude stabbing her, or of the girl stabbing him. Oh, there's a best of Reddit update, so there's plenty of updates in it. Boyfriend faked death and then called my reaction manipulative. Sure, yeah, of course. Like, faking your death is a manipulative itself. Me and my boyfriend, I'm 21 and he's 24, together for 3 years. Huh? Okay. I had to do the math real quick. Live apart, but have had plans to rent together soon, and everything was perfect before this. Backstory: I have a history of self-harm, have done since I was 11 years old. The last time I did was 2 years ago. I have some brutal scars, but I'm doing much better, and I'm in therapy. It's been a while since I even had the urge. My boyfriend had an ex before me who played mind games a lot, and I feel it's relevant as he sometimes thinks I'm playing games when I'm not. For example, he was wary when we started dating that I would self-harm for attention or do it to punish him. Okay, that's just freak-ass behavior. I don't/haven't ever done this, and despite my struggles, I'm pretty good with being patient and communicative. Until this, I considered us to be in a really healthy relationship. Main story: boyfriend went out drinking with his friends, and usually I hear from him as he gets home. 2 a.m. Damn. To let me know he is home and safe, but I didn't hear anything last night. I figured he just forgot, no biggie, and I went to bed as normal. I woke up around 11 a.m. to a bunch of missed calls from his mother. They live together. I called her back and she texted me at 1 p.m. that she couldn't talk. I was kind of worried and told her as much. She said my boyfriend didn't get home last night and was in a crash and didn't make it. This was super weird to me since I get on well with his mom and would never expect to be told this via text. After some more texting, I fully believe my boyfriend had passed away that morning, and I totally shut down. That's weird you got your mom involved, but okay. The people I live with were all out that day, so I was alone. Grief set in immediately, and I had extremely bad relapse on my self-harm. At that point, I didn't even care. I was just hurting so much, and my usual coping techniques just weren't doing their job. I listened to the old voice notes of his and even sent one telling him how much I loved him through the most unhinged sobbing I've ever done. What the fuck? Okay, I read ahead. I'm sorry. Well, he arrived at my house 20 minutes later saying it was a prank since he got into a small bump and thought I'd get mad about him driving drunk, as well as about him mushing up his car a little. And him and his friends came up with this plan to just make me happy he was all right. So they took his mom's phone and the above happened. What the hell? I obviously was thankful he wasn't dead, but I had a million other much stronger emotions. I was so angry he drove drunk, so angry he saw nothing wrong with it, so angry that he would lie about something so serious, and absolutely heartbroken that he would let me sit in grief for over an hour until I sent a voice note that made him feel bad. Plus lots of other things I'm struggling to articulate. Yeah, you hurt yourself because you literally thought he fucking died. He found out I harmed and flew off the handle. He said I punished him for turning a harmless prank into something much more serious and ruined the joke of it. She thought you were dead. She wasn't fucking punishing you. She was, you know, making, I don't know, in a sense, making herself feel better. He said I was guilting him for having fun and he can't trust I won't do it again. He even suggested I stay in the hospital for my mental issues for a few weeks and then crank up therapy. He said he can't leave me if he wants to now, or else I'll act just like this, just like his ex. What the fuck kind of reaction is this, you freak? I am beyond hurt. I probably should have looked into therapy if I am still resorting to it, I admit, but this was not an everyday bout of anxiety or even a breakup. I thought he had died. I'm also very aware that his actions were massively shitty and he is being manipulative in the aftermath. How is this punishment if I thought he was dead? Yeah, I absolutely would not react like this if he just broke up with me, and I have never said or hinted at that. Not really sure what to do. My gut tells me to leave him over this, but I'm so unsure. Yeah, fucking leave him. What the hell is wrong with you? Update on the story. Long story short, I broke up with him for the following reasons. Honestly, I would have broken up with him a long time ago for comparing me to my ex and just constantly just being like, you're gonna act exactly like her, you're gonna do this like this person did. Like, okay, the reason she listed for breaking up with him, which she didn't even need, you don't even need any reason to break up with anybody, to be honest. You just, I don't want to date no more, we're done, that's it, that's all you got to do. So her reasoning: drunk driving, he endangered himself and others, took his mother's phone and made me think it was her, deception, yeah, telling me he was dead, deception and extreme emotional stress, letting me think that for hours I could list every negative trait for that one, borderline sociopathic behavior. Not being sorry for any of these things, twat. Telling me I'm too sensitive, invalidation / shifting blame, obviously. Being mad at me for relapsing, unsupportive, uncaring, unkind. I still won't blame him for the relapse, though, as many people here wanted me to do. This is on me, and I'm still going to therapy regularly for that. Yeah. Yeah. So for those interested, I took a few days to myself. I did speak over the phone to his mom, and she was incredibly apologetic on his behalf. I taught her how to put a passcode on her phone. Understood. Sweet. After that, we met up and I outlined the things I listed above. He seemed apologetic and sincere about all of them and listened to me well. Unfortunately, he didn't quite understand that being apologetic wouldn't get me to change my mind and ending the relationship. So his true colors came out at the end. He got annoyed at me for ending it and again told me I was being dramatic and other invalidating arguments. Oh well. I said what I needed to say, and that was enough closure for me. Jeez Louise, what kind of freaking weirdo are you? My gosh. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I faked my death. It was just a joke. How could you self-harm yourself? Are you fucking trying to punish me? And then, like, you know, apologizing isn't going to fix that. That's something like, where's the trust? After you do that, how is she going to trust you that you're not going to pull the same shit again? What if you actually die and she's like, you're not dead? I won't believe that. Yeah, comments, Jesus Christ, what a terrible person. Who the fuck thinks that would be funny? Yeah, literally the update, very good. If someone blames their ex for how they are now, proceed with caution. Understood. Exactly what that person said. OOP is much stronger than she knows. She recognized what her boyfriend did was messed up and dumped his ass and then got therapy for herself. She'll be fine once that guy's out of her life. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And she listed them so well. That shows that the therapy sessions are working well for her. She seems is level-headed despite her self-harming. Um yeah, but that sucks. Literally, what kind of person fakes their death just because they got a little ding on their car? And then your friends were in on it, and everybody thought it would be funny to just keep that a secret from you, and then just like have you spiral mentally and go insane after figuring out that your boyfriend of 3 years just died. You're 20. You're 21. You can find another. You can find another boyfriend like easy. I'm glad his mom wasn't on it. Poor lady. I was like, why would the mom be in on such a thing? But you know, she wasn't. They just took her phone somehow. I love the emotional roller coaster that I'm always put on when I read Reddit. Oh, also, I just found out that Reddit has games, and I've been playing this hot and cold game, and I think it's really cool. So if you wanted to try that, go ahead. This was me reading Reddit stories. And I'm going to say bye now. Bye. 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 Goodbye.